Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to Sav Kas for 60 minutes. Big up to Kaz from Never a Foul Media. How are you, my man? You well?
Yeah, man, better than certain other, proud to be Geordie in the comments right there. What can I say?
Yeah. Bad times, that we'll get into that. By the way, guys and girls, thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying your bank holiday Monday. Kaz, look, this is a chance for us to talk 60 minutes about football. We'll, of course, talk about our own teams in due course. But let's start with, that game yesterday, Newcastle versus Liverpool. As usual, the world's going mad. All of a sudden, Newcastle are a terrible team because they couldn't finish off Liverpool. Liverpool have gone from being down in the dumps to now suddenly 7 points from 9, and it's all bright and things could happen. Isn't it amazing what 30 minutes can do in football?
Oh, yeah. I love that game yesterday. As soon as I saw that Jason Tindall, that weirdo, start shushing Klopp, I was like, you know what? I've had enough of this game. I want Liverpool to go and win now. And that's rare for me to say. I'd rather, obviously, on a content creator basis, a draw is no good. But one of the other team has to lose, and that was it. Newcastle was it. I just don't understand how you don't beat a Liverpool with 10 men and no Van Dijk either. We was crucifying Matip and Gomez playing. No, not even Kanate. They even put a kid called Kwanzaa on in like the 75th minute, and he even looked all right. They were rubbish. Newcastle was not down and out, but they were rubbish. And to lose in the manner they did, Sven Botman going out, even though one of the goals was his fault, regardless. Darwin Nunez was on fire. And what can you say more about that? He was clinical, hit the moments he needed to. And I thought he should have started in the first place anyways. But this is nothing new to Newcastle. Because this is nothing new to Newcastle because they always lose to Liverpool. They haven't beat Liverpool since 2015 December. That's 8 years.
Do you know what? I agree with you. For me, I just said to Saeed, I feel like when you look at Liverpool's options, they got 5 forwards, right? You've got Mo Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, and Nunez. For me, Darwin Nunez is the only one out of the 5 of them that wants the physical battle. He's the only one that can play through the middle, have the battle, tries to get in behind and score goals. For me, it's got to be him with 2 of the other smaller players. I don't know if I'm being too simplistic there, Kaz, but he certainly showed it when he came on. He gave them a different dynamic, didn't he?
Yeah, it's the hitting in behind. See, this is what I thought Liverpool should have done in the first place anyways. But, Trent got booked. I think game plan kind of goes out the window when your main fullback gets booked. Should he have got sent off? No, not for me. I think it was soft if he would have got sent off by that. I looked at the arm. The arm wasn't that bad. He barely touched him. Van Dijk one was definitely a sending off for me. You went at, I think Isaac would have been in, and I think he would have scored potentially. So it's a goal scoring opportunity. It's only one game. They can live without it. You know what I say? What a red card. If it means getting a result, who cares? And they play counter-attacking football, and that's what worked. And Newcastle, Harvey Barnes, crap, came on, didn't do nothing, could have squared it, didn't. Reminds me of Rashford, gets greedy, doesn't know how to square a ball properly. Isaac was silent. Joe Gomez had him in his pocket alongside other defenders.
Well,
Cameron was their better attacker, and that says everything you need to know. Even in midfield, like you got to big up McAllister and Szoboszlai. Even Endo, don't get me wrong, I don't think Endo was anything effective because when you play counter-attack, it's a bit easy. But when you look at what Szoboszlai was doing and McAllister, they were holding the fort down and getting the ball moving up to the front line for Salah and so forth to go and potentially score.
Well, 2 things from that. I mean, first and foremost, I was doing the watch along with a Newcastle fan yesterday, and when Gomez was getting ready to come on, he was like, yeah, Gomez is rubbish. This is brilliant for Newcastle. To be fair, I thought Gomez had an outstanding game at centre-half. I thought he did really, really well against Isak. And I thought that from Liverpool's point of view, there was green shoots in that game of this midfield is brand new, but when it actually gets some time to gel together, they're going to be a good outfit, right? All of a sudden, though, the worry for them, Kaz, for me, is got to be at the back. Because Trent Alexander-Arnold, he can't defend. I don't care what anyone says. I'll have this row with anyone. He can't defend. Sorry. And Van Dijk and Matip just don't look what they were a couple of years ago. Where do you see their back 4 and the midfield at the moment?
Nah, it's just an issue. They need a centre-back regardless. Even when Van Dijk comes back or Kanate, they definitely need a centre-back. But they more or less, but I still think they need a DM. Europa's going to kick in soon. you know, this is the issue I have with Liverpool. They go beat the top teams and they have a lot of joy. But when it comes to like Aston Villa next week, they'll probably go and draw that game. It might be 1-1 or 2-2, or I don't think they're going to lose at Anfield. I think it's hard to lose at Anfield, but that's the difference, you know. So I'm not going to rip Newcastle apart. I felt to. I'm trying to be a little bit more objective about it because it's nothing new to Newcastle. I think it's one of their bogey teams, and the manner they did lose him was horrible, and I'd be frustrated as much as the next person. But they definitely need a centre. When you have to put Dan Burn into centre half as your next left-footed centre half, you know, and then what's his name comes on? Because I thought Dan Burn was having a decent game, to be fair, at left back
I
against.
did.
But
I thought he done well.
this is what I mean. Botman comes off. It's the same issues that I have in Liverpool. They come off. Who's your next part? At least they got a Matip and a Gomez. They got Lascelles, and he didn't even get the nod. You know, that's the difference. This is what I mean about Newcastle going into, you know, when he goes into Europe and stuff, is having the squad to do it. Harvey Barnes is not shit. He's going to get goals. He's going to do all right. Anthony Gordon was wicked, and whatnot. And then, you know, Tonali looked all right in the game. To be fair, he looked really up for it, especially in the first half, first 60 minutes. Bruno Gomes had a poor game for me. And then you got Joe Linton and so forth and yada yada yada. The front line's fine, but there's still that's still that right winger centre back away for me for having a squad to go and do it.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, the last thing I would say on Newcastle Liverpool, I thought it was crazy that he took off Anthony Gordon. Now, for all of the hate that Anthony Gordon, all of the kind of controversy around this boy since he moved from Everton, he was excellent yesterday, and he had Alexander-Arnold on toast. Every time he attacked him, he went past him, whether it was on the outside, cutting on the inside, and I felt like there was kind of this collective sigh of relief from Liverpool when Anthony Gordon went off. Do you think that was a really bad substitution from Eddie Howe?
Yeah, I thought Almiron should have came off. I thought you should. Wilson for me was the correct decision because Isaac was poor. He wasn't his fault why he couldn't get the ball squared to him to put it in the back of the net. Almiron, his juice ran out after he hit the post. I thought maybe Gordon could have went to the right, Harvey Barnes off the left, and had like a really pacey front three instead. But you know, Eddie Howe got it wrong. I think in that manner. I think even though there were what it was 1-0 and they scored 1-1, and then instantly you have to go for the game. I just don't think he managed it right, especially towards the end. Liverpool were pressing, and it would be kind of a disservice to say that. Don't get it wrong, Liverpool were poor in that respect, obviously, for going 10 men down in the first place. But their desire to go get over the line is the difference, and that's the difference between teams that know how to do it and teams that don't know how to do it. You know, if my team had 10 men against Newcastle, we would have got rolled over, and that is the nature of it. They got the goals to back it up. They got the Salahs and stuff to go and, you know, and at this point, Nunez to back up the situation.
Mm. Yeah, listen, I completely agree with you. I mean, listen, earlier on in the day, Manchester City 2-1 at Sheffield United. I don't think they really got out of first gear. Didn't need to. Should have scored about 10 to 15 goals in the game. Is it scary for the rest of the league, Kaz, that Man City, who notoriously start slow, have won their first 3 games?
No, it's not yet to get carried away. But the thing is see, when it comes to composure at the end of a game to go and win it, that's the difference between Man City and the rest of the league right now. I think no matter if they're 1-0 down, if they go 1-0 down, they're going to win it at the end. Yeah. And that's the harsh reality of things. I look at Arsenal's composure in front of Fulham, even in Palace, even in the Nottingham Forest game. My own team, no one's actually started great. There's only one team that looks stable in the league right now, maybe potentially 2. And I can't believe I'm saying this, is a David Moyes West Ham, who looks stable in their performances of what they want to do, and Tottenham.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that, Kaz.
The only thing with Tottenham is you can pinpoint the gaps that they can leak against the better teams, but guess what? They haven't leaked it yet. That's the difference. They ain't leaked it yet, but I will point performance based like this on a more clinical day. Bournemouth and even Man United are getting a couple goals against you boys, but you didn't. But it's a new manager and a new system, and they're buying into it. That's the difference. Same with David Moyes. He's got an Alvarez. He's got Mavropanos now and so forth, and looking at a couple more additions, and they're settling into David Moyes' ball. James Ward-Prowse, who I was thinking is an awful sign for a top 6 team, all of a sudden he goes to West Ham. He's looking like the main man. Who needs Declan Rice? They look better without him, because I've been telling people all along he is overrated. But it is what it is, isn't it? West Ham are doing well, and I think they're going to have a decent season. But let's wait until Europa kicks in. But then again, they've had a couple years of Europe. So I think the lads of West Ham should be getting more used to it anyways. And now they've got En-Nesyri coming potentially. And I'm thinking, I hate this game.
I'll tell you what, Kaz. Let's talk West Ham then. Let's talk West Ham. We were just saying on Henry's channel that, good business for the 105 million they got for Declan Rice. Right, they've then gone and signed 3 players for 103 million. So they made a £2 million profit. They've brought in Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, and Mohamed Kudus, all for 103 million pounds. If on top, plus they've got Mavropanos at the back with because they made an extra 50 million on top, didn't they, for Vlasic and Skamaka.
You forget one thing.
Go on.
Europe as well. They got their winnings off of that, and how much they got through that TV money.
Sure,
league money.
If you add those 3 signings plus Mavropanos at the back, and if they do go and get this El-Nesyri from Seville, that for me, Kaz, is a top signing. He's a very good target man, very good centre forward.
They're finally buying into what David Moyes wants rather than what the board wants.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Industrial players. The one that's not so industrial is the Kudus. I'm kind of yet to see anything because I've seen Paquetá. I wouldn't say he's amazing at West. Oh, pardon me. I wouldn't say he's amazing at West Ham yet, and he's a bit trickery and all that kind of stuff. Even the Danny Ings of the team. Oh, I've got hiccups.
No worries, man.
And I look
at talk for a second.
No, you're good. Even the left-hand side, I want to see what can happen with a Kudus because I think this is a bit. He's going from Ajax, in like free-flowing football to industrial football. I don't know how he's going to manage. We're yet to see that and if he can handle it. Mm-hmm. And then looking at more signings, they're looking potentially going out backing up for Maguire and McTominay. McTominay says it might be a loan though, but Maguire they're going to see if they can pay off any other odds and just fork up some bits and bobs of money. Mm. Yet to see it, especially Man United getting Cucurella now, potentially on loan. I think of it. Okay, now that's Maguire technically in 6th choice as a centre back. Luke Shaw's going to be used as the Alessandro cover. Varane, Lindelof, and then you got Johnny Evans. Maguire, mate, you are 6th choice. What do you want to do?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to ever use this phrase, but I'll say it really quietly.
They don't even need him.
Are West Ham going to win the transfer window? Do you remember all of that last year? But look, they've made some good signings. But look, let's segue that back to Man United, Kaz. Look, not convincing against Wolves, poor against Spurs. 2-0 down in 4 minutes at home to Forest. Mate, what is going on at Man United? I know you won, but what is going on?
See, the way I look at the performance as a whole and for what it is rather than the scoreline. The scoreline doesn't prove anything, right? Because even being 2 goals down, we got told last week that Man United are finished. We've been told that you don't score enough goals. Don't create a lot, even though the XG says different. It's bollocks. It's bad organization. And then we also got told of many other things. And I feel like the way the Man United did, it reminded me of Leeds. I remember sitting down in my seat at Old Trafford and I'm not joking. I sat down, I heard the crowd cheer and I'm thinking we've already scored. No, they scored. And then you go score another one and we nearly won it at the end. This point of time, I think Man United's character shone a little bit. They got hit on our own set piece from a corner and their set piece, and I feel like after that, even we pinned them back. We pinned them back. We won the ball back very quickly. We made some good changes. Martial was a little bit more fit, holding up the ball where he needed to. Rashford in certain areas needed to be a little bit better, but it made a difference. Bruno Fernandes was fantastic. Eriksen for me and Casemiro, that front three. This is what I was seeing last year when they were all fully fit. And whatnot. And I know it's only Forest. And it's like, if it was another team would have killed us. That's the difference, I think. But they say another team might have killed us. But I say, but Man United's performance as a whole was actually good. They just caught us out in 2 moments. Now that comes down to a lack of concentration, and that's what gets me worried a little bit. How many moments are we going to get when there's a lack of concentration? Now we've seen in Wolves the lack of concentration. We saw against you boys, Luke Shaw lack of concentration. Got passive, let Kulusevski run right into the area. Even Davies, why was he allowed to travel that far into the box? Lack of concentration. And then now we saw Awinyi and a corner's a corner, to be fair. But that certain moment, was lack of concentration. So some organisation needs to get going, otherwise it can get really bad. And we're going to probably see what was going to happen against Arsenal on the weekend. But it's not good enough. Even though it was 3-2, it's still not good enough. It should be 3-0 or 4-0. Or even in moments where Rashford decides to be greasy, square the ball, make it 5-2. Because you know what? If you made that 4-2, right? And, you know, another situation I can keep pinpointing, like Anthony, like just instead of shooting, even though he hit the post or got a great save out of, what's his name? Turner, you could have put Martial through or Martial finishing it. You could have made that 5-6-2 and that whole scoreline, people having a different conversation. Now you're putting pressure onto yourselves again against Arsenal. And they're going to be looking at you thinking you're weak. It might taste blood. So, yet to be seen. I'm trying to be critical but positive at the same time.
And you guys, look, there's 4 days and 10 hours left of this transfer window, Kaz. Are United going to do anything to change this? Or is this something that can be changed with the current group and the manager that you've got? Or do you need bodies?
Yeah, no, 100%. I like the Cucurella deal, to be fair. If it's just a loan, I'm not going to say no to it. Yes, he had a crap time at Chelsea, but all the players had a crap time at Chelsea. I saw that player only a couple of years ago at Brighton flourish and be their player of the season.
Yeah.
The profile is what I like, not the name. It's the profile. Right. So it makes decent sense for cover, and that also means that Maguire's further away from the team.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to judge a player that's been crap for a year. Like, look at Basuma. He was shit. But guess what? A year later, looking like a brand new 100 million signing.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to judge on that part. So I don't mind giving it. Do I think he's going to be special, Cucurella? I don't know yet. Do I think he's a good player? Yeah. But I don't know if he's going to be anything great. Yet to be seen. So
I think there's a lot of these players we could say that about Chelsea last year, right? That, you know, you look at Sterling, you look at Cucurella, you look at Enzo Fernandez and Madueke and Mudryk. It's really difficult to tell who's good and who's not because Chelsea were an absolute mess. But yeah, listen, I think Man United, it looks all a bit weird, if I'm honest, from an outside point of view. It just looks weird. You're Man United. You know, when I was growing up, and for the last 20, 30 years, you're Man United. And you shouldn't be going 2-0 down at home to Forest, you know?
Well, we've been there before in the Fergie days as well. It's not like it's anything unknown. Man United have known to concede early and go win again. That's the whole point of Comeback Kings, the title, Fergie time. That's the whole point of it, of us going down and coming back.
Yeah, but that was a team that could win the title. And it wasn't like, you know,
but you resort back to it. But last year, we were 3 points less. You know, we beat Liverpool in the third game. I remember there because I was there watching it live. I loved it. Actually, I'm pretty much there for all the Premier League games. But I'm not saying, look, we can always revert back to the old Man United, but we got to get to grips with what it is today. It's different.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now you got to earn your stripes back. So the revisionism on the whole back in the day thing is bollocks, in my opinion. And I look at Man United now.
I get it.
I look at Man United now, and I think one body changed it, and I'm still waiting. You know, there's loan deals, this, that, and the other. I think we might get 2 players, and if that's the case, I think, according to DiMarzio, we're in negotiations now with Amrabat. Yet to see anything, and this has been going on for a while. Now they want 20 million for him, not 25. Yet to be seen. We need that more than ever. And then, obviously, Cucurella is not. I don't think it's essential, but it's okay. And I think that will do for the time being. Let's just wait till January.
It's a strange one, the Amrabat deal. It seems like it's been going on forever. But look, let's move away from Man United and let's look at Chelsea. Chelsea got their first win of the season against Luton Town at home on Friday night. Looked much better. You can have the critics that will say, well, it's only Luton, but they played some good stuff. Jackson looked a handful. Sterling looks like he's getting back to somewhat of his best form. Positive signs for Chelsea, or is it too early to say that after one win against Luton?
It's just Luton Town, and you're expected to beat them. And I was quite harsh on Chelsea, I think, considering it was just Luton. I looked at the chances created, and I wasn't impressed. I looked at this on paper midfield. I wasn't too impressed. I think Enzo was it was whatever. But you look at how far Chelsea are coming. You know, that's what their third win at home this year alone in 2023.
Yeah.
It was a clean sheet. It was 3 goals, something they're not used to. Sterling's looking very brand new. You can't say he's just Luton because he was doing it against West Ham as well. And it was unfortunate that he didn't get anything. Jackson got off the marker. That's a sign of confidence. Then can he go get another one next week or this week? And even then, I think in the end, the midfield will gel to be what it needs to be. The back line, though, I must say with Chelsea, I'm not liking the Thiago Silva in the back five just to accommodate him. I kind of want to see Matson more than Chilwell as well. He came on for Chilwell and it instantly made a difference. I know Chilwell played left wing back, whatever you want to call it. I think Malagusto, wicked, 2 assists. But I do want to see like a Cole Will and whoever, maybe Badiashile, centre back pairing of some sort, because Thiago Silva, as a Rolls Royce as he can be, I don't even think Chelsea fans want to see a back five. It's kind of, you're against Luton Town, it's deemed quite negative, but they got a lot of injuries. They got 9 injuries, so maybe they're just making do with what they got.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think the key thing for me is it feels like for the last 6 months to a year, Chelsea just constantly seem to have 5, 6, 7, 8 first team players injured. And it feels like you never actually get to see what is Chelsea's best 11. Do you know what I mean? Like with Man City, you kind of know, right? You kind of know when everyone's fit, we know what their team's going to be. Liverpool, to the same extent, possibly with Man United. Chelsea just never seem to have everyone fit. Why is that? Why is no one ever fit?
I think for them, I don't know, maybe something to do with the medical team. Maybe the facilities ain't that great in the training pitch. I'm pretty sure they'll splash some cash as they usually do and go sort that out. I look at Chelsea, but I think Poch is allowed the right as a new manager to work out what's his best 11. You're not going to get it straight away. No, like even Angie, he's kind of working out what his best 11 and I think he's given up with Richarlison after that substitution against Bournemouth. I think that's his final straw. Look at what happened when Son went up front. It looked a lot better. I think, you need a little bit of energy down that left-hand side. And I think Solomon definitely was an edge on that part. I think he deserves a start. I think Richarlison he's crap. He's just crap. Even he's allowed to work out his best 11. I think your defense, Porro, is he better than Emerson Royale? Emerson Royale, like credit, fair play to him. He had a great first game, but he didn't get a chance after that. He got Porro, but Porro's wicked like at this moment of time. He's enjoying that role. He's got a lot of freedom. Udogi, what a player, man. I said it.
Yeah, he looks good, didn't he?
I remember watching Udinese versus Inter Milan last year, or Udinese and go watch Juventus. Always a good game. Always upset the big teams. Wicked player, man. Wicked player. And he was playing more wing-back situation, and people was asking, can he do left back? Angie's enjoying his time, and you go and see some of his press conferences and his interviews as well. He's a likable character already, and I think that spews good news for Tottenham. And there's zero pressure. He's allowed to work out what his best 11 is, in my opinion. So is Poch, and I think that's it's interesting to see what will become when they do end up when it gets thick and fast. But you and Chelsea, I feel like are in the same situation,
Yeah. Listen, look, we'll move on to Tottenham now. Just before we do, breaking news is that Dean Henderson has just completed his medical at Crystal Palace. So it looks like that's a £20 million.
Who's that?
Pardon?
Dean Henderson.
Yeah, Dean Henderson.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, he's just completed his medical and looks like he's on his way. And yeah, Mohamed's kudos. The deal is now finally done. And Al Dahal are in for Philip Coutinho. And Chelsea close to reaching an agreement with Roma over Lukaku. So there's a lot going on. We'll talk about transfers in a minute, Kaz, because there's so much going on at the moment. Moving on to Tottenham. What do you think of us so far? I mean, you've obviously seen us versus you guys. We've played a couple of tricky away games against Brentford, then against Bournemouth. We've not lost yet. We scored 2 goals in every game. Yeah, no worries. No worries. I'll hold the fort. People in the chat, let me know what you think. Big up to absolutely every one of you in here. Big up to everyone that has liked the show already. There's over 330 of you in here. Let's smash that like button, people. That's all I'll ask. And if anyone did want to subscribe, the link is in the chat. But please do subscribe to our guest, Kaz, over at Never a Foul. The link is in the bio. What does everyone think about Spurs' start to the season? Is anyone surprised? Is anyone saying that they predicted this? 7 points from 9. Are you disappointed that it's not 9? Are you impressed that it's 7? Let me know your thoughts, because Tottenham have had a lot of people saying they thought we'd probably only get 7 points from our first 7 games. We've done it in our first 3 games. Kaz, what do you make of Tottenham Hotspur right now? Big up, Dabs.
No, Tottenham are looking good, but I still think if a better opposition with a decent attack exposed you a little bit more. But at the moment, it's just work in progress in terms of building relationships. Your real test probably will be Arsenal when you go and play them. I think, is it at the Emirates or is that Spurs?
Yeah, the first one I believe is at the Emirates. I'll find that out. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, but you got Fulham next weekend and this weekend, and I look at it as that's a little bit of a test. I think Fulham's a decent ground to go to. They ain't got no Calvin Bassey. I think Tim Ream's back though. So how do you get a red card in your debut? João Felix stuff there, isn't it?
Yeah, Fulham's tomorrow night in the cup. Yeah, Carling Cup.
Sorry, yeah. So
yeah, Carabao, whatever it's called.
I think you might switch it up a little bit. I think you're going to switch up a little bit. I think fringe players will get a chance. Oh, there's Daps. Yeah, fringe players will get a chance. So it'll be interesting to see some of them lot. I think Emerson Royale will get a nod. Or Angie put Big Ange. I don't know if he actually go with his first 11 because
he's already said today. He's already said today that he will make changes, and he has said that Lo Celso will definitely start tomorrow.
I'm interested to see that because don't get me wrong, Papa Sarr's decent, and I don't think he's ready to play every game. He's got the nod. But I do look at someone when Bentancur comes back, like a Lo Celso, the one that drives a little bit, who's got the energy to go up and down. Lo Celso come on against Bournemouth, and I thought he looked decent. Basuma, Lo Celso, and I like that. For me, Papa Sarr lacks again, I think it might be down to experience and age, potentially, but I don't... He lacks a bit of concentration for me when he gets up the field. His getting back is decent, but sometimes his positional sense is a bit wayward, and I think that's where he needs to improve on. But Lo Celso is the experience you might need in a Basuma Maddison midfield. It makes sense.
Yeah, you've got to remember. I mean,
Papa prove himself. Lo Celso's got to prove himself again because he ain't got a great relationship with the Tottenham lot.
Well, look, Papa Sarr. This is the first time he started 2 games in a row ever at Tottenham Hotspur. So he's only 20. He's going to take time. Yeah, look, what all the noise at Tottenham, Kaz, is that Lo Celso is not going to be playing one of those positions. It's going to be in tandem with James Maddison. Now, obviously, James Maddison had an injury all this week, played, got man of the match, scored a goal, looked really good. And now we're playing tomorrow night. Lo Celso is going to play. I can only assume it's going to be Lo Celso in for Maddison. But players
I would change that. Is Ndombele back at your team?
Why are we talking? Let's never talk about that guy getting a game.
Because he done well for Napoli, right? And I look at someone like
as
Maddison,
a sub.
Lo Celso's not for me. He's just a box to box in the Premier League. Maybe he's a decent creative outlet over in Spain, but for me, I think Ndombele deserves a bit of a chance as well to revive himself. He did win the league with Napoli. I think in an attacking mid spot where I look at Maddison, he doesn't have bags and bags of energy, right? And I know you don't like Ndombele, but I don't know if he's going to get a chance. But I want to see him maybe in that attacking mid spot a little bit. But
the problem is,
I think you're going to do Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Skip. I think that's going to be your midfield 3. Højbjerg's a great choice, by the way, coming in and breaking up the game when you need to. And I think he's kind of relishing that role a little bit as well.
Yeah, look, the difficulty with bringing Ndombele in is everyone that's played so far, the pressing they've done, even James Maddison, the pressing, the work rate, the running has been epic. Ndombele, we've seen 4 years, and even at Napoli, he doesn't run. He just doesn't run. He doesn't press. And I just don't know how he fits in, if I'm being brutally honest. Let us know in the chat. Could Ndombele play? Could he slot in for James Maddison? All noises are saying that Ange has already lost patience with him, and that he's going to be Lo Celso that is the more natural backup, I suppose, to Maddison. But mate, he doesn't run, Kaz.
Yeah, I hear it. Maybe it's a bad choice, and I'm just looking at the footballer he is, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about in terms of that part. I know he's a bit lazy. I just thought he might be able to get a chance, maybe, because I feel like when a new manager comes in, everyone gets a bit of a clean slate. But from what I know from substitutions, is that Ange definitely prefers Lo Celso, Højbjerg, Solomon, and Emerson Royale as well. He's clearly trust him in the first game, and you can kind of see even Skip. You can kind of see who he's picking above and beyond. Because in the Ange system, you do like the pressing moments, and I think your team is still unfit in that sense, like in terms of really pressing and getting going again. And I think it's going to take a few games for you to get going. But I think over time he's going to want hard runners. I like the way your fullbacks press as well. You know, they're the ones that really suffocate the opposition, and then all of a sudden they're in positions of in and around the area on the byline, you know, and then you let your wingers
they invert massively. Like, do you know what? Watching the game on when did we play? Saturday? I can't even remember now. Saturday we played. Yeah, and watching the game on Saturday, it was seeing how much the fullbacks inverted, and when we played the ball out wide, it was normally
they
a
were expansive,
Basuma
though.
or a Madison. They were the ones receiving the ball out wide because Porro and Destiny came into the middle of the park. And it's look from a fan who's just had to watch Antonio Conte football for 2 years. This is lovely stuff, Kaz. This is proper football, right? So from that point of view, I think we're all happy. Where I think the difficulty with tomorrow night, Kaz, is for years I suppose the criticism that's been thrown at Spurs managers is we get to these cup games, we make these wholesale changes, you get knocked out, and then fans go, oh my God, we want to win a cup. These are cups that we should be winning. We should be going full strength. That's my only concern for tomorrow night, is that we make too many changes. I've got a feeling we're going to make 5 or 6 changes, and I wouldn't.
I personally wouldn't change the back four too much. I think you can bring in one, and I think that should be for Royale, I think, because I don't think Davies is anywhere good anyways. I think Perisic comes in because he was a bit direct. I think you could do with something like that. I think Richarlison stays maybe to get one more game, and I think Kulusevski stays. But then I think Højbjerg might. No, I think Basuma will, because he's important to the way you tick, to be fair, and I don't think you've got another player like that. But I think Skip comes in, and I think the Celso comes in. I think that's your 4 changes. And obviously you keep Vicario in goal, and he's proven he's getting a lot more confident game by game. That's a clean sheet for him as well. Another one. Keep building your clean sheets, and you start getting a little bit of something. Van de Ven, Romero, can't change that. He clearly don't like Dier, and he clearly don't like Sanchez after that first game against Brentford as well, even though he had no choice, right? No, it's Son your captain, right? So yeah, he might play. But even if who's your vice captain?
Maddison and Romero.
Yeah, so Romero. So it's Maddison, Romero. So yeah, Romero start. Maddison can go on the bench.
Do you know what I've said, Kaz? I think for me, I'm comfortable with a couple of people changing, whether it's a fullback or a wide man. For me, I think we've got to keep that spine. Vicario, Van de Ven and Romero, and Basuma and Sarr. Yeah. I think they've got to play. If you need to rest Maddison and he's got a slight knock, cool. But what I don't want to see is all of a sudden we're seeing Dier play and Sanchez play, and all of a sudden you're going, oh my God, we're trying to play an expansive game of football with those two high up the pitch. That would be. Are you
going to get any new signings? Do you reckon though? Like, you surely bring in a striker. Surely bring in a striker of some sort.
Well, this is what all the conversation's about. So everyone we're linked with at the moment isn't a striker. All the noises coming out are that Ange doesn't want a striker. What he wants is wingers. And we are linked with Brennan Johnson. We're linked with Bakayoko of PSV. And we're back to loan Fati from Barcelona. They're the 3 apparently on the Spurs list. For me, I would want a striker. I want to gift Orban. I would even take Taremi. You know, I want Jimenez of Feyenoord. I feel like we need. Look, I don't know. What do you think of Richarlison? Because I can't see this bloke anymore in a Spurs shirt.
He's shit. Let's call it for what it is. He's shit in the waste of £6 million, and that's on Daniel Levy for winning him in, or Conte, whoever it was. He's shit. No point. I think you do need. I think Taremi's a great shout. 15, 20 million. He's a baller. He will do you bits. He's definitely better than Richarlison. Come on, man. Like, I said, can it get any worse for Richarlison? I saw a goal scoring opportunity against Bournemouth where he could have tapped it in. Even didn't do it. He missed an open goal. I'm calling that as a miss as an open goal. He's a waste of space. He's just wasting in that 11. He's just not it. Maybe you need to.
Have you seen who he's in talks with?
Maybe he needs to go left wing. Maybe he needs to go over there and just stop because the striker position is so vital to what managers need these days, and he's not doing it. Wait, who's he talking to?
Who?
Saudi Richarlison. You said
no, not Richarlison. No, it's about Taremi. When you said Taremi, Taremi's in talks with AC Milan.
Yeah, but that was I read that about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they're in talks again today, according to Romano. But there's loads going on. Say Cancelo's had the here we go. You've got, hang on, let's just have a look. I'll have a quick recap before we talk transfers. So João Cancelo to Barcelona. Here we go. Man City selling more players. Valencia have reached an agreement with Valladolid to sign the Moroccan international Amala. João Cancelo. Where are we? Fresneda.
He's a right back.
He's on the move.
Where is he going?
He's
Barcelona.
an option. It says here it's an option for Barcelona, but I can't. I mean, this was yesterday. He can't be now, can he? When they've just signed Cancelo. Forest are trying to sign a goalkeeper from Benfica.
Cancelo's the left back option, I think. No, they got Balde, don't they? So Cancelo might play right back. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then you got Taremi. He said AC Milan will present another proposal for Mehdi Taremi today. Taremi has already given the green light and wants to join. And then you've got there's loads of stuff. Spurs are putting in a bid for Brennan Johnson, blah, 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 blah. And then a good signing for me, the last one is Jesper Lindstrom is going to Napoli from Eintracht for £25 million. That's a good signing for me as well. Look, let's talk about it. The transfer window then, Kaz. We've got just over 20 minutes left of the show. There's 4 days and just over 9 hours of the transfer window left. Who's making the moves? What are we expecting to see? Are we expecting to see any big signings in the last 4 days?
So Matheus Nunez is going to definitely go to City. I don't know if you're going to accept this bid, but one bid will get accepted in the end. So that's nailed on. And I think he will thrive there from what I'm seeing. Ball carrying. I see Kovacic yesterday, wicked. He had a good game. And he's kind of similar, you could say. Matheus Nunez. I'll say he's definitely more defensive minded than Kovacic. But I think at the top of my head, Arsenal needs something. They need something. They need a timber, someone to cover. Maybe, I don't know, Saka, or if not, some sort of right back or left back since Tierney's gone. Unless it depends where they want to use Tomiyasu. And I need whatever. I ain't seen nobody else really linked with no one. I've seen Chelsea again linked with Elise. There's some off link there again. They surely go into the market. I think they still lack something in the front line. I think everywhere else is covered, but they do need something in the front line. Don't know what's going to be the case there. Obviously, Man United, Cucurella on a loan. We already spoke about all of that stuff, but I ain't seen anything major. I don't see any more big signings. The last one that's been rumored was obviously Mo Salah going to Saudi, which is probably rubbish.
I can't see them doing that with 4.5 days to go. But listen, I still think Liverpool need a defender. Like, do you think they're going to go? Carragher said yesterday he thinks they need to go big in the market in the last 4 days. Can we see Liverpool doing anything?
Who? That's the question. 4 days, who? That means another team. If they're going to get rid of a big boy player, then who they're going to quickly replace them with? Because I don't know. There's only 4 days left.
Yeah.
I don't see no Antonio Silva's or Gonzalo Inacio is moving. They ain't linked with nobody yet. They could be linked with someone tomorrow or the next day. But I haven't seen nothing about them linked to any sort of centre back whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's strange. I mean, you used to watch Liverpool, they were solid at the back. Like, you knew that defence was solid. Now you look at them and they're quite vulnerable. They can be got at. But, like, you're right. They kind of had this big frenzy for players, put in the bid for Lavia, put in the bid for Caicedo, ended up with Endo at 15, 16 million pounds. Their fans are all now saying, Kaz, well, hang on. We bid 110 for Caicedo. And they're rightly asking that question. Where's that 100 million then? If we had the money for signings, where is that 100 million? So can you see this being a difficult season for them in terms of if the fans don't see a couple of new signings for the end of the window, is Klopp going to be under pressure or has he got too much credit in the bank?
I think Klopp leaves at the end of the season regardless. I think he's going to go to Madrid. I think maybe they're going to save the money and maybe use it for the next director of football that comes in after Schmadtke because he's only there for short and whoever the new manager might be. That's the way I see it. Do I see them having a good season? For their standards, no. Not for Liverpool standards. So that's that. I think they probably will make Champions League because you can get 5th place or 4th or 3rd, obviously.
Yeah.
So
surely they've got too much in attack to not finish in the top 5, haven't they?
Yeah, no, of course they do. I look at other people's attacks, including even our ones. Too many unknown entities, but they got something. But the difference is, I don't believe in their defense to get them over the line, especially when
Yeah.
This is what you say. When Europa comes in and kicks in fast, they don't have the depth. They don't have it depth in anywhere. Yes, they got Shimikas, Matip, injury prone anyways. Joe Gomez, injury prone. Van Dijk and Konate, injury prone. They got 3 injury prone centre backs. And then you look at right back, who's covering there? Like, I would hate to be a Liverpool fan right now. You know, even on defensive mid cover, it's only I don't think Endo's injury prone. He's an engine. He can't play every game. He's going to force him to, but he can't play every game. And when you see the McAllister go back there, it's back to the shit show. So I don't know what they get. I don't know who they get. I still don't know why Lavia went Chelsea. I think it's a waste of a signing. They should have just got him, because guess what? You're doing what Man United used to do. So it's like, oh yeah, you know what he'll do? Get him at the end, splash some money. Is it really the right profile? Who knows? Who cares? Yeah. So who are they going to go get? See, they'll get linked with a big boy signing and then go get someone from Brazil. Even a boy from Brazil rejected it. The 30 million, whatever his name, Andre. Who is Andre? I see him waxing lyrical. Oh, Andre's going to be the best new thing. Who the F is Andre? I don't know him. P. Andre. There you go.
Peter Andre.
Liverpool's all over the gaff. And I feel if they do get a big boy signing, it's because they're gearing up to sell the club. I think FSG are going to sell within the next 2 to 3 years. And I don't think they care about the club as much anymore, and they're going to make their billions because they bought it for 500 million. They'll end up selling it for like 4 or 5 billion, something like that. Yeah, and then Liverpool fans can be happy. It might get shit this year for them. I know the Newcastle result was great, but the performance weren't, and it just depends. It really does.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting at Liverpool. I love monitoring some of the bigger clubs because obviously the pressure on the Man U's, the Liverpools, the Chelseas, the Cities is such that you can't have a bad year. You have a bad year and it's the end of the world to fans. Let's talk about Romelu Lukaku. Now, this guy looks like Chelsea and Roma apparently have both said they want to get this deal wrapped up in the next 24 hours. Lukaku undoubtedly has ability and always has in his career, always had this kind of chip on his shoulder with his mentality and his attitude. Does this loan signing to Roma work? Someone like Jose Mourinho getting his arms around him and making him the focal point. Is this a good move for both clubs?
It's the only club that wants him. He ain't got no choice.
Right.
He's got no choice. Juventus fans don't want him. Inter fans don't want him. No Premier League clubs want him. He rejected Saudi. You know, he's just a bit of a clown, isn't he? He's a total idiot. Call him a metalhead more time. So he's got no choice but to go to Roma. And he's been in Italy for the last how many seasons, whether it's on loan or on a permanent. No, he go Roma. It'll get a lot of goals for them. Under Mourinho football, who knows what it will be. But I think Tammy Abraham still might be out with the injury. So, I mean, it makes sense. And it makes sense for Chelsea to get him off the wage books. Because what's the point of him being in and around the under 21s or reserves or anything just to be there? You're earning how much money per week? Just get him gone already. And I don't know how many years he's got left in the tank, but I think it's just the fans don't want him back. Pochettino don't want him back. He's just a pest.
Yeah, it's someone that it just lingers around, doesn't it? But look, Roma could be good for him because, you know, Roma do like to play with that target man. They don't play with a prolific goal scorer. They do like to go into a target man. And let's be fair, for all of Lukaku's faults, he knows Serie A, doesn't he? Inside out. You know, he knows the league. He knows the defenses. I just get the feeling that could be a really good move for both clubs because Roma obviously need to. They've been there or thereabouts, haven't they, in and around the Champions League places for the last couple of years, but without breaking into it. I just think they could do something good with him this year.
They had a decent season this year. They were unfortunate not to win the final of the Europa League either. You know, they nearly went back to back. So I don't know what signings they've got this year though. Did they lose out on Dybala? I'm going to check their transfer.
No, they kept Dybala. They've bought in Paredes from PSG.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Renato Sanchez. They got on loan.
Paredes, Evan Ndiko, Baller, Housen, Elwar, Christensen from Leeds, probably crap. Who else is there? I mean, they sold Clivert.
But look how much they paid for all these players. By the way, what was Elwar? Free?
Yeah, Elwar was on he was free transfers. Evan Ndiko free transfer. Renato Sanchez alone €1 million transfer. Paredes 2.5 million euro.
You know, it's not bad, is it? Not bad.
He also get. They got Pagano as well. Come up from the under 19s. Decent little baller there. and they got Leverkusen. They got Asmoon, the centre forward. See, this is what I mean on the loan transfers. If anything, they've definitely upgraded the squad because they did let go a couple players as well. So yeah, I think Mourinho is building something solid there, you know, and I think this is his only way of getting his name back on the block. He has to make this work. He has to win the league with them. And I think this year, when I look at Juventus, don't look strong anymore. I don't. They're still good in and around, but they don't look as strong. I don't really rate it.
Who's that Juve?
Yeah, Juve.
They did. I watched them last night. I watched them last night and the other day. They disappoint me. They really disappoint me.
In Milan, they've lost. Obviously, they haven't replaced Onana properly. They did get Pavard, which is decent, but they got Cuadrado and them players there. Lost out Lukaku, main man for him. Dzeko, I think he left as well. And then I look at AC Milan, who looks actually like a decent outfit, and that's probably the one to look at. And Napoli ain't got their coach no more. So and they got no more Kim Min-jae, which is a big loss. So yeah, this is time for Mourinho to really implement himself back on the league and see what he can dominate.
Yeah, I think this year they've definitely got to get back in those Champions League places. But when you look at some of that transfer activity for, you know, like 4 million euros it was for Paredes.
How has Evan Ndika gone to Roma, by the way? That is mental.
No, they do well. They do
Evan
well.
Ndika should have been the one that probably goes to. I thought that would be shrewd business, maybe from Liverpool to go and do. They could have do with that kind of guy. Even Tottenham left set, like you could have got and say Van der Ven and got tapped sober instead the right footer. Yeah, but you know, you're not going to change Van der Ven for the world at this moment, are you? But
no, of course. But it's interesting, isn't it? It goes to show that you can do it without having 150, 200 million to spend in a window. You know, they've got some good players. Obviously, Matic left, I think. Kluivert left. Has Gigi Wijnaldum gone now? Is he still there? I can't even remember
still there. No, Wijnaldum's still there. They ain't got really rid of loads of players like that. I don't think. Yeah, they haven't. Not really. Departures. Oh, there you go. Ibanez went. He went to the Saudi league.
That's right.
Carlos Perez went to Celta Vigo. Nemanja Matic went to Rennes for them. They got rid of a lot of players, by the way. Oh yeah, Wijnaldum did leave. He went to PSG. My bad. That was a loan only. Didn't work out, did it? Yeah, that's about it. Really, nothing. No one else is really noticeable.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Do you know what? I know a lot of people don't rate it. I like watching the Italian league because it's normally quite competitive at the top there in terms of, you know, I know Napoli ran away with it from a title perspective, but Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juve, Roma, Lazio, you know, there was lots of Atalanta are normally a good team to watch as well. There's lots of teams in and around there that are actually quite decent, but just don't have the superstars, I think, to compete with the Premier League teams, apart from Inter.
I watched the Italian league when Sassuolo were playing like Sassuolo under De Zerbi. That era, like two years ago, maybe 3 years ago even. So that was when I stopped watching it. It's just too slow for me. I prefer system ball and Bundesliga. I think even the league is boring. Bundesliga is a farmers league. Don't get me wrong, but I prefer the system ball because it's just I see some technical ability that's decent. French league's actually fun because there's a lot of ballers there, young talent.
Let me ask you. I want to talk to you about. Look, Tosin Adarabioyo is expected to go to Monaco. He's in talks with Monaco. That broke down last week, but now it's back on. And a lot of the noise is that Eric Dier will be his replacement from Tottenham to Fulham. What do you make of Dier going to Fulham? Is that a good move for him? Somebody who's fallen out. And if you were a Fulham fan, how would you feel about signing Eric Dier?
Eric Dier is garbage. If I'm a Fulham fan, I'm thinking this is bad. What is that? What is that? I don't even want to hear he's decent enough for the club. He's not decent enough for the club. That guy should be playing for Wolverhampton or someone like that down the bottom. Nottingham Forest, maybe. Who else is there? Luton Town. Sheffield United is probably the perfect fit for him. Not Fulham. There's a reason why no club want him. He's garbage. He's actually hot garbage. He needs to play for a team that's got low block. He might even do well for a West Ham.
But you think so? If Spurs can get themselves 5 to 10 million for Eric Dier going out to Fulham, that's good business. Yeah,
that's a win. It's a W in my books. Crap.
But it's a massive, isn't it? A big if you're a Fulham fan and you're seeing a downgrade from Tosin Adarabioyo to Dier. I'm not saying Tosin Adarabioyo is amazing, by the way, but to go from him to Eric Dier, you'd feel a bit let down, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because Adebayo was like 25. He's at a good age, and if you end up, I'm pretty sure you're trying to grab him from Monaco, and one goes one way, one goes the other way. It just goes to show levels of who the bigger club is. He's just
Yeah.
Adebayo is a good, decent young defender and a good profile for someone like Ange as well, because he's fast and he's got a bit about him. Not going to say he's going to be a world class talent, but he's definitely better than Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer for
Yeah.
them, Fulham don't even play low block or nothing. I don't know how he thrives. I think he's just another Tim Ream of the team. I mean, I still rather play Diop than him. I think he's crap. He's just crap. I think they're getting lowballed. If they accept it, is what it is, and move on. But yeah, there's a reason why his name's Dyer.
Oh, listen, I'll just be so happy the day I see this man leave Tottenham. Do you know this is his 10th season at Tottenham Hotspur? 10. It's just mad, isn't it?
Like a Phil Jones situation.
Yeah. Him, Ben Davis, this is his 10th season at Tottenham as well. Hugo Lloris, who still hasn't left the club yet with 4 days to go, this is his 12th or 13th season at Tottenham Hotspur. Like like somebody said, if we were a TV show, we'd be hoarders. Like we just literally, these players come to us and they literally end their careers here playing for years and years and years. I just want to touch upon the last thing before we go. That there's so much talk about Mo Salah going to Saudi Arabia. Look, Jurgen Klopp said yesterday, as far as he's concerned, there's no story. What do you think? Mo Salah, is there any legs in this? They can afford him, but with 4 days to go, are Liverpool going to let go their star man and with 4 days to go?
If Liverpool sold Salah, kiss Champions League goodbye. You're not going to get no one good enough to replace him. You're going to miss out on how much GA. You're not going to manage. You might as well call yourself 6th place team. 6th place, I think, would be fair. They don't. I don't think they can allow it. Like, they don't have to accept a bid, even if it's 150 million euros or dollars or whatever the crap is. You can't replace all that GA with all that money. You've already got money to spend. Go spend it. Let him go next year and let him go for a lower fee. Who cares, right? At least get an adequate enough replacement. But I just don't see how Liverpool replace him or who with. They still haven't replaced their DM situation yet. How can you trust them to go get a winger situation done? Would they say they have too many guys in the lineup? Will they wait for next year? I'm seeing it. 100 million guaranteed euros, 50 million add-ons is what one source is saying. Ben Jacobs, that fraud, is saying Liverpool continue to insist he's not for sale, but the other teams out Etihad is initiating, like, they're going to definitely table a bid. I just don't see it, and if it does, I think Liverpool fans will come together and say FSG got to go.
Yeah, I can't see it happening. By the way, just 2 bits of breaking news coming in from Sky Sports News. We've got 6 minutes, so we can go through this. Bayern Munich have approached Chelsea about signing Trevor Chalobah, the centre half. Bayern Munich looking at Trevor Chalobah. What's your initial reaction to that, Kaz?
Well, Chalobah doesn't want to be there, and I mean, in a back three system, probably makes sense. I don't know if Tuchel's going to go back to a back four. Maybe they lack in that area. Maybe in Germany, Chalobah will look one of the best. I don't think he's a bad defender, anyways. I think he's just been hard done by a little bit. He could be one of them Jerome Boateng situations. He looks crap for Man City, goes over there, looks like one of the best.
Yeah,
it could be. I think he. I just thought, I just don't see it though, because they need a right-footed centre back. They got no Fofana, and Thiago Silva's the last one, and he can't play in the back four. I don't know if they let him go, to be fair. I know they got the Sassy as well. I don't know where he fits in the team. Reece James is out, not that long. Yeah, he's probably surplus requirements when I think about it.
But Bayern Munich, I mean, I don't know. For some reason, it just seems weird. Bayern Munich for Trevor Chalobah. I mean, it's one of those that you never get to see for 10, 15 games in a row to actually turn around and go, how good is he or not? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there could be better profiles, but we all know why they need it. They need cheap options. They need cheap options because they blew all the cash on Harry Kane. That's why you've been seeing links of flipping Scott McTominay on loan. Like, why is he getting a link from Build for Scott McTominay? That's awful. You've got Goretzka in the team who's definitely better than him. And you want to go get Scott McTominay on loan. Chalobah won't get game time at Chelsea as much as he would at Bayern Munich. I think they need options big time. They already got Delict, Upamecano. They just lost Pavard. So yeah, it
Well,
makes sense.
that's the bit. I think they're going to get him in before Pavard goes out to Inter Milan.
I'm pretty
Because
sure I'm pretty sure there was a here we go for Pavard to Inter Milan.
no. Apparently, there's from what I've seen. Sorry, I'm saying it like I'm Fabrizio Romano. From what I've seen is that all the deal is agreed, but Tuchel won't sanction it until he gets a new centre half in. So that would make sense. Tuchel worked with Trevor Chalobah at Chelsea. Now, actually, yeah, now I think about it, it does make sense. And the last one, really quickly, the last one. By the way, Carl, big up to you and said, why is Fulham desperate to get Tosin? I think it's more for the fact that he is in the last year of his contract. So I think if they don't get 20 million from him now, then a club like Fulham cannot be letting players go on a free next year.
You're right.
Yeah,
he's last year.
1 year. So I think it's just that. Listen, last thing, this will interest Tottenham fans. Spurs, all of the top reporters, not the silly ones now, all of the tier ones, as the kids would say, Kaz. Fabrizio Romano said it as well, is that Spurs are in negotiations with Nottingham Forest for Brennan Johnson. Now, there is two types of deal that are being talked about here, Kaz. I'll run them both past you and you let me know what you think. The first deal, and don't laugh, is that Spurs want to pay £50 million for Brennan Johnson. Yeah, your eyebrows say it all. And the second is that Spurs might pay something like 25-30 and Davinson Sanchez will go the other way to join Forest. This is one, as always, Kaz, that is dividing opinion amongst Spurs fans. Lots of people underwhelmed with this as a signing, saying we don't need him. Some people saying we do need his raw pace and it's who Ange wants. Just quickly, the last few minutes, Brennan Johnson, mate.
He's garbage.
Don't hold back. Say what you really think.
No, if you're going to get rid of Sanchez and get a right winger option in, then fair enough. 20 million and getting Davinson Sanchez off the books, it's okay. But he's got blistering pace and could be deadly on a counter, could be used as a squad option. He's garbage, man. He's one trick pony, isn't he? He's just like he's like Daniel James, just a mixed race version. And I look at the other bit, I'm thinking, surely if you're going to be willing to spend 50 million on an attacker like that, there's definitely much better out there for 50 million pound to go on that right hand side if you're looking for another attacker. He's not 50 million quality. If you go spend 50 million, that's like paying 60 million for Richarlison all over again.
That's what I'm worried about, mate. I truly believe that with a decent scouting network, you're picking up players half that price from across Europe. I truly do not know why this guy is 50 million.
Go and test the waters for Embuemo or something. Surely, like, I don't think Brentford would let him go, but test the waters there rather than Brennan Johnson. You need a centre back as well. So if he goes, that means whatever. That means Dier ain't going then, is he? Because you're going to need your centre back options.
Pounds, my friend, pounds. English club to English club, pounds. No euros about it. 50 million pounds.
So right winger option. Who else is there that you could?
Mate, listen, the other two that we're in for apparently are Bakayoko, as I said, and Fatty. But I'm taking either of those over Brennan Johnson in a heartbeat.
You don't need homegrown players. You're not in Europe. Forget that crap.
I don't know what this means, Ollie Gunner. I don't know what this means.
Brennan Johnson is not that. I'm trying to think of. There's definitely better options out there. And it's not him. It's not.
Yeah. By the way, let's just see. Here we go. There we go. Think you can see that. So Fab Romano wasn't even the first one to break this story, by the way. There were more. There's reporters like Alistair Gold, David Ornstein, all said Tottenham are in talks to sign this guy. That this was him saying that Chelsea no longer want him and that Tottenham Hotspur do.
It's one name I think you should bring him back to the club. Who's that little kid from Sporting?
Marcus Edwards.
Get in Marcus Edwards and bring him back. Get him back.
Yeah, it can't be worse, can it? It can't be worse. But listen, Kaz, dude, thanks so much for coming on. Apologies for last week. Thank you for coming on again this week. Listen, where can people find you? Where can they subscribe to you?
Never a foul. It's just easy. You can type it. There's probably a link somewhere, whatever it is. If you stay on this chat, it'll go over to there. We got Dan Potts, myself, Daps, and also Mr. Joe, the Leeds fan. We're going to be talking about the games of the weekend and little bits and bobs. So it should be a good conversation. So if you stay on here, it will push you over to that stream when it ends. So it's up to you if you want to do it, and appreciate anyone that does like the video as well, even if you want to leave after.
Absolutely. Listen, thanks, Kaz. By the way, people, on your way out, smash that like button. I haven't asked all show, but there's been over 300 the whole way, and only 132 likes, which is really, really slacking. Bank holiday Monday, giving up our time. Smash that like button. Kaz, thank you very much. And as always, come on, you Spurs.